All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Hunter Smith with MetaStock. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can't see my screen or if I sound like I'm down a tunnel or something like that. Just let me know. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Sagar, and he will be presenting a few different ways to trade stocks efficiently. Now, before we get too far into it, we always cover the legal stuff first. Our disclaimer: this demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of our software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. Now, one of the things that we really enjoy doing here at MetaStock is having professional traders come on and share a little bit about their education. I wanted to talk a little bit about Sagar first and foremost, who has been a very good partner of ours for a number of years now. He's been a professional trader and a bit of a perfectionist on his trading for quite some time. And the wonderful thing about Sagar's system is not only is it in MetaStock, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's a little bit of a shameless plug, but also he has spent years developing this product and perfecting it, and it's always changing a little bit. Every time I check in with Sagar, he's developing new technology as well as new tools that he enjoys using as trading and as shares with his community. Now, the Superior Profit community is actually quite large, and one of the things that I really enjoy about Sagar is he doesn't make you pay for all of this knowledge. If you go to superiorprofit.co, you're going to find a wealth of knowledge there for free, from videos to blog posts, etc., ebooks and tutorials. All of these things are free tools on superiorprofit.co. You can access the community for free. That includes your support, training, daily posts. He has trading examples that you can find on his website, as well as we actually share those on our MetaStock blog every once in a while, so you can be on the lookout for that. But today he's going to take us through a little bit about his system and why Q Global works so well. Without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to Sagar. Sagar, can you hear me?
Hi, Hunter. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm going to switch the old presenter button over to you.
Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I see the website there.
Okay, great. Let me close some unnecessary programs.
Yeah, no worries. Now, also, you there out in the audience, if you have any questions, like I said, this is, I like to do a little bit more open sessions. So if you have questions on Q Global, what Sagar does, or what we do here at MetaStock, please feel free to put them in the chat box, and we'll get to those, as well as feel free to come into metastock.com/sales chat at any time. That can answer questions as well. So Sagar, I'll let you take it away from here.
Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Hunter and MetaStock, for organizing this webinar, and thanks to all of you for joining me today. I am Sagar, Chief Analyst and Trader at Superior Profit based in Singapore. I will not take time to introduce myself as usual. You may visit our website superiorprofit.co for more information about me, the company, and its trading products and systems. Before I begin, I go through the standard disclaimer. This demonstration is for educational purposes only. It is designed to share information on Superior Profit's trading system. The information presented here should only be used by people who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Past performance is no guarantee of future return. Superior Profit is not an investment advisor. This session is not for any recommendation of buying or selling stock or any other instrument. Superior Profit will have no liability for any investment decision made by its audience. Today's topic is trading stocks efficiently, and we'll have many subtopics under that topic. When we are trading in the stock market, we need a number of resources and systems to make meaningful trading decisions. We need to know something about the stock. Some people may be trading without knowing anything, but there is no harm in knowing at least what the company does. Is it making money? Does it pay a dividend? Is it a high beta stock? So on and so forth. The next and probably the most important thing for short-term trading is to know how the stock is moving, that we can decide from technical analysis. There are traders who rely on fundamental analysis to make trading decisions. Those may be for short-term trading and certainly for long-term trading. In my view, if we have two stocks, both are technically strong and one of them is fundamentally strong and the other is not, we can make trading a little bit more efficient by choosing the one that is technically as well as fundamentally strong. Sector industry rotation analysis. This is pretty important, though not everybody may be utilizing it. Much of a stock's move comes from the market level, the market's momentum or direction, and also from the sector or industry's rotation. That is why when the market was dropping a couple of months ago, it was very hard to make money buying stocks. However good you were in picking stocks, that didn't matter. It was very difficult to make money. And since 26th of December 2018, even if you are a not so disciplined trader, not so good stock picker, it is difficult to lose money buying stocks as the market is moving fast upward. Much of a stock's move comes from this market level and the sector industry level. Therefore, if you are able to find out which industry is strong and buying stocks in that industry, you have a more efficient technique of trading stocks. Economic events, they are also important, at least some of them. For example, the central bank rate decision is a major event which may or may not, but which may move the market and sometimes significantly. Today there was a Federal Reserve related event. The Federal Reserve minutes was out at 2 p.m. That might be considered as an event to take note of. And some general news. What is happening in the geopolitical landscape, in the commodity market, etc. You may not need to click on the news heading to see what is going on, but just to be aware of what is going on in general in the market and some news specific to a company, for example, its earnings date. That is very relevant and important to know for trading. If you are trading for some time, you have access to some, if not all. You are probably having access to technical analysis, general news, economic news, some basic stock information, some fundamental analysis information, and probably some sector industry rotation information as well. But trading is a competitive area, and you are better off finding an efficient way of applying them in trading. It may not be enough just to have a means of gathering these information and insight, but it is important to have an efficient way of utilizing them. When deciding whether you are efficient in stock trading or not, you may answer few questions about the media from where you are getting your information about the stock or the channel. What media or channel are you using? Are there many? Are you looking at marketwatch.com, Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, so on and so forth? If so, you may be getting your news, but you may not be getting it efficiently. How do you find your trades? Are you finding it from some mobile application, from the media channels, or do you have a disciplined approach to finding stocks and you have scans ready-made that you can run to find the exact setups that are of interest to you? When you are scanning for such trades or you are looking for trades in the media, how many technical trade setups are you using? Are there many or only a few? If there are many, it may not be very efficient use of your time. If there are few but robust trade setups, that may be more efficient. And the trade setups in terms of technicals are identified based on indicators. Indicators or expert advisors in MetaStock, etc. Are you using too many? Especially, are you using too many for the same purpose? If you are using oscillators, are you using 2 or 3 indicators for oscillators? Are you using too many to decide trend or momentum? If so, you may not only be inefficient in trading, but you may also be setting yourself to be confused from the indicators which may be conflicting at times. In terms of fundamentals, it can be a jungle. There are too many parameters to look at, too many things to compare. How much time are you requiring to find fundamentally strong stocks? If it is taking too long, the best trading opportunities may pass you by the time you identify a fundamentally strong stock that is also giving a technical buy point. In terms of industry rotation analysis, how quickly can you find out the industry that is in favor? And are you able to do it in real time or are you getting delayed information? How do you track your stocks for entry or exit? It is not enough always to only scan for trade ideas. You may follow a limited number of stocks. Some of those may look interesting but not ready yet. How are you tracking those stocks? Are you doing that efficiently? If you are using multiple brokerage platforms, are you going to set alert on each of them on different platforms to know when a stock is ready for entry or when a ready stock is ready for exit? When do you place your trade? Is it in the beginning of the day, end of the day, middle of the day? Which one is most efficient use of your time? And can you use the same and minimal set of resources for carrying out all the above for any country or any market if you are trading in multiple markets? If you think about it, there are many factors that can make your trading more efficient. In today's webinar, I will try to show a technique and a set of systems that will help you to carry out all the trading decisions for stock trading efficiently. I will, near the end of today's session, come back to this green post-it and see if we have addressed all of them or not. Let me start with the simplest one. When are you placing your trade? If you are placing your trade near the beginning of the day, are you placing it at market open? Everybody says that is not the most efficient way, because at the open there may be a preponderance of buy orders or sell orders and you may not get the best price. Also, sometimes right after open the stock may reverse. It is therefore a common knowledge to wait for a certain amount of time before placing your trade. How much time? That is not certain. A stock may open higher and then start to move in a sideways range on intraday chart for a significant amount of time. Therefore, if you are thinking of placing the trade at market open, that is clearly not efficient. You may not get a good feel. If you are trying to place the order around market open, then it is not efficient so much, because you don't know exactly how long you have to wait before you see the stock breaking out. Some days it may happen in 5 minutes, some days it may take 10 minutes, some days you may have to wait for 1 hour. It is not known, uncertain, and therefore not efficient. A more efficient way of placing the trade is to place it near market open. If you have a robust set of systems, you have a systematic approach, you should be able to find suitable trades for short-term trading in the stock market in 20 to 30 minutes, and then place the trade just before market close. USA market closes at 4 p.m. New York time, Eastern time. Therefore, you would not need to open your computer anytime before 3:30 p.m. You just need that maximum 30 minutes time in a day to place your order efficiently. To be able to do that, you have to get a system that confirms a trade signal at market close. That doesn't require you to check if the stock is moving beyond yesterday's high in the next trading day. We have a system and a number of trade setups based on the system that allows us to confirm a trade signal at the or near the close of a market. Therefore, we are able to place the trade using these systems just before market close, requiring no more than 30 minutes a day. To place a trade, we have to identify the trade. The trade has to be identified based on a universe of stocks. If you are scanning for your trades on the entire USA stock market or entire NASDAQ exchange or New York Stock Exchange, that is not efficient use of your time, because many of those stocks are not liquid enough. They don't have narrow enough bid-ask spread. To make your trading efficient and your result more profitable, you need to focus on the liquid stocks. If you are trading options, then just looking at liquid stocks is not good enough. You need to look at the stocks that have liquid options. Liquid options meaning the options that are having narrow bid-ask spread, at least around the current strike price. To make trading efficient, you may first create this set of stocks that you are interested in based on stock liquidity or option liquidity. You can then add them as a symbol list in MetaStock and focus on only those stocks to look for trade setups. When scanning for trades, if you are looking for indicator values, that is not the most efficient way of finding stocks, because the indicator values may be set by different people to different levels, and sometimes by the same person to different levels. So if you are using MACD, you can have different settings today. When you feel like changing it, you may change it. having indicators where you can fiddle with parameters probably to fit a hypothesis that you already have in your mind is not efficient way of trading. You may use indicators that are robust enough to adjust to any market condition without having to fiddle with parameters, without having to compare their value with thresholds. And in terms of scanning, it is not enough to scan for indicator values. You may make your trading efficient by scanning for trade setups or for a specific or few specific chart patterns you have in mind, not for indicator values. And to make it even more efficient, you may use a platform that allows you to mix and match scans to find exactly what you want. And MetaStock allows us to do that. When you are scanning for trade setups, how many setups do you need? 54, 12, 7 or only one? In my opinion, to make trading efficient, we need only one trade setup for each market condition. If we are trading only in a trending market, trend is our friend as they say, then you need only one trade setup. If you are also trading in a sideways market, you need a distinct and separate trade setup for the sideways market. Similarly for reversing market as well as exhausting market. And finally, to get out of your bias, which will make your trade more efficient, certainly, you may use trade setups for these different market conditions that are based on unambiguous checklist. Therefore, whether I am looking at it or you are looking at it or Hunter is looking at it, for 90% of the times, we should all come to the same conclusion about a particular stock. By identifying your trade based on a well-defined universe, predefined universe, scanning not for indicator values, but for trade setups or chart patterns, being able to mix and match the patterns to find exactly what you want, and using only one trade setup for each market condition that is based on unambiguous checklist, you are able to make your stock trading a lot more efficient than many other traders. In Q systems, we call the systems that we use Q, C standing for complete, U for unambiguous, and E for easy to use. We have identified 4 distinct market conditions. You can find them from superiorprofit.co education menu and going to entry checklist. One is a trending market where the market goes up or down, up with higher highs, higher lows, or down with lower highs, lower lows, uptrending and downtrending respectively. For the trending market, we have defined only one trade setup after a lot of research. Similarly, for the reversing market, which takes place after a stock is in an uptrend for a long time, it starts to reverse. We have some indicator for that. We have defined a reversing market trade setup. We call it headwind trade setup. Then the third market condition, when the stock or the whole market moves in a sideways range or it is forming double tops or double bottoms. Under those situations, you may apply a different trade setup based on different set of indicators. That trade setup we call box setup for the sideways market. And the fourth market condition we have defined is exhausting. Sometimes a stock falls suddenly and sharply, maybe because of earnings disappointment or because of non-drug approval for biotech companies or for other major reasons, finds robust support which acted as support before also and then starts to go up. That is an exhausting market condition trade setup. We call it a bounce trade setup because it results in the stock bouncing from pre-existing support. 4 different market conditions, very different situations, only one trade setup for each of them. One thing is common between all the trade setups is that they all try to catch the swing low. They don't lead us to take a trade where the stop loss is very far. And in that way, each of these trade setups are efficient. If we click on any of the market conditions, it will take us to a page where it describes the trade setup, and very importantly, it gives us a checklist. The checklist is based on daily and sometimes weekly indicator values or colors. In fact, there is no value to be checked, only color or the line going up or down. We match the checklist in the middle column for a bullish trade if we are looking for a buy opportunity, and the checklists are to be matched with the right side column, the bearish column, if we are looking for a shorting opportunity in a stock. If you see the conditions, it is asking us to check a color or the shape of a candle or a line going up or down. All these decisions can be made unambiguously and efficiently by all of us. Because individually they are unambiguous and efficient, as a whole, the checklist is unambiguous and efficient. Once you start using this system and technique, after a week of time, you may open any chart and decide within 10 seconds or less whether there is one or another of these 4 trade setups at the right edge of the chart. And I will demonstrate that today. These indicators are available on the Q charting system, and I'm opening MetaStock now. I opened it. I think for some reason it wasn't happy with me. Maybe it had to wake up too early, 5 a.m. local time. In MetaStock, very powerful charting platform. I have been using MetaStock for decades. We have developed the trading system called Q trading system, called Q Global, because it can be used in any country, any market. We have defined several ready-made templates. Our default go-to template is the weekly daily template. Here, as you can see, we don't even have any label for the indicators. On the left-hand side is the weekly template. We call it backdrop template. On the right-hand side, this specific template is a daily template. We call it trade entry template. The checklists that I showed you just now, you can apply all those checklists just based on these 2 chart templates. The checklists are all sufficient as well as necessary for the respective trade setups. And you can look at this weekly, daily, we call it at a glance together. You can look at this at a glance template and in 10 seconds decide whether there is a low risk entry opportunity according to one of those trade setups. It's not that you have to use only those 4 trade setups. Once you are accustomed to the system, you can improvise and develop new trade setups. For example, breakout trade setups if you want to trade them. These are not the only 2 templates. We have other templates, but all the templates are having indicators that are color coded. Green cyan is bullish, magenta red is bearish, yellow is neutral. Any line tilting upward is bullish, any line tilting downward is bearish. That is all we look at, and we can respond to the chart instinctively. We have also made each indicator looking differently by design. No 2 indicators look the same in all the chart templates. None of the indicators have any parameter. You don't need to compare them with any threshold. You don't even have to look for divergence or convergence. That makes your trading decision very efficient. What about day trading? There are systems that simply change the interval of a chart from daily to 10 minute or 1 minute, for example, and use them for day trading. We wanted to make trading more efficient. Therefore, for day trading, we developed a different template which relies mostly on pivot levels that are dynamically drawn. For example, the cyan color early range lines, or the white color pause lines, or other lines that may be drawn on different stocks at different times. And we rely on the trend lines. We call them memory trend lines. The red are the resistance trend lines and the green are the support trend lines. They are all zero lag indicators. And then we use the stretch release signal. Bear release is coming in red and bull release coming in green, which are very fast indicators. Therefore, for day trading or for precision entry of swing trading, we use this entirely different intraday chart template. You may call it fine-tuned template that allows you to enter trades with speed with different techniques. Where will you learn the techniques? The techniques you may learn from education books or education videos and education blogs. If you go to the books page, for example, you will get a series of books. All are open to the public. Probably hundreds of pages with colorful charts explaining every concept, technique, template, trade setup. Once you go through them, you will have a concrete grasp of how to trade in a systematic approach with discipline and efficiently. You will use different templates for different purposes. The fine-tuned template that I am showing now, you will use that for precision entry of swing trading or day trading. And in MetaStock, you have this beautiful feature. You can go to expert commentary. It is a small program in itself. It will read the entire chart and interpret it for you. Sometimes if you go to the daily chart interval, it will even tell you whether there is a swing trade entry opportunity. I am back to the daily entry template. If I go to expert commentary, it will tell us that QQQ Nasdaq ETF doesn't have any trend following trade setup right now, and there is no trend reversal trade setup as well. When there is a trade setup, it will tell you more information about that. We talked about the instruments. In MetaStock, you can create custom online data list or custom local data list. I don't use local data list. Everything I retrieve from the Thomson Reuters database through MetaStock Zenith in real time. So I have created custom online data list for different countries. If I'm trading in Australia, I'm using CFDs so that I may be able to short those instruments. I have created a list for that. Australia stocks with high liquidity, Singapore stocks. I'm resident of Singapore. Singapore stocks, CPIF stocks are those where the government allows us to invest the retirement money. I have made a list of that. And then I have a number of lists created for US market. Those with liquid option, Dow Jones Industrial Average, Nasdaq, so on and so forth. You can create any number of lists and you can run your scans more efficiently only on the lists of your interest. What are the scans? In Q systems, we have 50 scans. Out of that, the bounce, box, breakout, go with flow, and headwind. These 5 scans with the prefix long, they are looking for buying opportunities following the 4 trade setups: go with flow for trend following market, box for sideways market, bounce for exhaustion market, headwind for reversing market, and breakout for breakout trades. So we have 5 scans for 5 trade setups in the long direction and the same for the short direction: bounce, box, breakout, go with flow, headwind. And then we have 40 other scans to look for very specific patterns you have in mind. For example, you may look for stocks that are at extreme low and reversing. Combine that with stocks that are not. Let's look for stocks that are reversing, but I don't want to buy overbought stocks, so I can combine that with Q, stretch not overbought. And further, I may look for a breakout opportunity, so I can add the long breakout scan to that. If I can look at that, sometimes it is in front of my eyes. Okay, I have now combined 3 different scans. One is looking for stocks that are at price extreme low but reversing. We are not trying to catch falling knife. Because it is already reversing, I am trying to filter out overbought stocks by choosing the second scan, and finally looking for breakout opportunities. Sometimes you may think, okay, if the breakout is accompanied with heavy activity, that is even better. We could do that. We could add the scan for activity unusually heavy or activity increasing. However, you have even more efficient way, more stringent condition that you can apply by using the pressure extreme bullish. And you can make the stock even more bullish if you have Q pressure U-turn bullish. U-turn bullish means it was extreme bearish pressure earlier, now it is turning into bullish pressure. So that is even more stringent criteria than finding stocks with extreme bullish pressure. What is pressure? Pressure is a combination of displacement and volume. It is not about volume or activity only, but it is also making sure that that high volume is accompanied with large movement. I have selected a number of scans and I can run them together by choosing this radio button, use the results from preceding exploration. That will allow me to use the output of one explorer we call sonar as the input of the next one in a waterfall model. That is an efficient way of finding your trades. Which instrument set would you like to use? Let's choose a large enough instrument set, S&P 500 or liquid stocks. And if I click the summary button, I'm going to run it on the live market. That's why I use the current exchange date time, using current exchange date time and daily interval. Let me sort the scans exactly in the way that I planned it. So I am going to look for stocks at extreme low and reversing first, then looking for breakouts, or rather next looking for stock not overbought, then looking for breakouts, then looking for pressure extreme bullish, and then if I have pressure U-turn from bearish to bullish, that is even better. And I'm going to click start exploration. It is going to run all the explorers or sonars one by one. The running icon shows that the first one is running. It is running on the total 505 stocks that are included in S&P 500. I don't have any data stored in my computer. It is going to the internet and gathering the data. And while it is doing that, I may sip a cup of water. That was pretty fast, isn't it? That's what we call efficient trading. I could barely take a sip of water. The first sonar scan found only 7 stocks out of the more than 500 stocks in our universe, and then only 4 of them were not overbought. That says a lot about how the market is moving. The market is moving very fast. Difficult to find stocks that are not overbought, and therefore they may not be at a low risk buy point right now. That is good information. We didn't find any stock that is not overbought and breaking out with bullish pressure or bullish U-turn. Then let us reduce the scans. Maybe the stocks are overbought. Maybe you, unlike me, are interested in taking breakouts even if the stocks are overbought. So I reduced one of the scans, reduced the scan that avoided overbought stocks, and I'm going to order them again, looking for stocks at extreme low and reversing, breaking out with pressure extreme and hopefully with bullish U-turn as well. And I'm running the explorations again on the same 500 plus stocks. And I may use that opportunity to take another sip of water. Well, we didn't find any stock this time as well. If we didn't find any stock, what are we supposed to do? The efficient way of trading is to stop looking for more trades. But this is a webinar, so I will continue. Let me look at some of the stocks that may be of interest to you. They are of interest to me. I was looking at them earlier and I found them using some scan. So let me run those scans. I will go to my Explorer favorites, deselect everything. I'm going to, let me see what I'm going to show. I'm going to now look for stocks that are in confirmed uptrend. So stocks closing above very slow direction, stocks closing above slow direction that are giving me a trend following long trade setup because the market is bullish, and data that are breaking out at the same time. I'm going to order them properly and run them on the S&P 500 stocks. It is quite fast, isn't it? Considering the fact that it is going to the internet and I'm in Thailand, the server may be somewhere in the USA, thousands of kilometers away, getting me all the data in real time, doing the scans. And before I can finish my sentence, it will probably finish all the 4 scans. And the scans are complicated. They are not all very straightforward scans. For example, the breakout is looking for possible breakouts from many possible trend lines. And starting with more than 500 stocks, now we ended up with only 2. Isn't it nice? That is what makes your trading efficient. What is the next step? Next step would be to look at these stocks using our template. What is the template? The first template to use is the at a glance template. I can in fact choose both of those stocks together. Simply click the open chart button. It will open both the stocks using our default at a glance template. What do we see here? The weekly is cyan color, that is bullish backdrop. The shape is hollow, that is bullish. It recovered from the low. For several weeks, it is moving sideways, and now it seems it is ready to go up in the weekly chart. In the daily chart, we can see the consolidation period. It was inside a triangle pattern formed by the automatically drawn smart trend line, resistance trend line, red color. support trend line, green color. As of today, using live data, it is breaking out of the triangle pattern, breaking to the upside. If we apply the checklist for our trend following go with flow long trade setup, we'll see all the checklist conditions are met. The weekly is bullish. In the daily, we have a stock in an uptrend. The flow candle color, as we call it, is cyan, bullish, and these three indicators at the bottom band, momentum, speed, acceleration, all are green. The price is in the middle of the two bands, lower band and upper band. It is in a value area. We have enough distance to go before we need to book profit. The stop would be just below the recent low. That gives us a reasonable reward risk ratio, and it is a go with flow long trade setup as per our checklist. We scanned for that, isn't it? We scanned for go with flow long trade setup, and we scanned for a breakout condition, and it is indeed breaking out of the memory trendline resistance. So we selected exactly what we looked for. Those are the necessary and sufficient conditions, the checklist conditions, but there are sometimes additional factors that are in favor of the trade that makes your trading even more accurate. These are not necessary conditions, but always good to have. And we have few of them. We have this top band. By the way, we can simply right click to find out what the band is telling us. This top band, if you right click, you see that it is the band indicator for swing, meaning it is saying whether based on higher high, higher low, some calculation we have, is it bullish? And today it turned bullish. It turned bullish already several days ago. Then it turned neutral, that is natural. Sometimes it will go between green and yellow, and now it turned green today again. That is good for taking a long trade. And then this band that is squeezed in between the other two bands, if I select that and right click, you will see the name is, that band is for identifying squeeze. Again, red is squeeze, yellow neutral, and green is release of the squeeze. Isn't it nice that now as the stock is breaking out of the triangle pattern, it is also coming out of a squeeze. How do we visualize the squeeze? I mentioned we have many chart templates. One is to visualize the volatility or chart of or squeeze of the stock, and I have set up everything on the MetaStock toolbar. That is an efficient way of trading. And now when you look at the volatility chart, you can see the squeeze at the this squid like band. You can see red color indicates that it is in a squeeze. That is a calculation based on volatility of the stock, not the price movement. Then yellow indicates that the squeeze turned neutral, not squeezing anymore, and green indicates that it is now breaking out. There is a hypothesis and theory, and it works quite often, that if a stock is starting to move out of a range, out of a squeeze, then the move may be significant. In this case, we found a trend following long trade that is also breaking out of resistance trend line, and it is also going out of the squeeze at the same time. By the way, the candle colors are designed efficiently. On different charts, they represent different things. We saw in the backdrop weekly template, they show using a different calculation whether the weekly backdrop is bullish or not. In the daily entry template, we use, and if I can go back to, okay, there are too many charts. So what I can do, I have everything in the menu. In the daily entry chart template, the candle colors are called traffic light candle color: red bearish, green bullish, yellow magenta, yellow neutral, and on top of that, cyan is optimal entry point for trend following long trade for a stock in uptrend, and magenta is an optimal short point for a stock in downtrend for trend following trade setup. For the volatility template, the color indicates whether the stock's volatility is high. How can we use them? If we are trading options, if the volatility is high, probably calls and puts are expensive, it is better to not go long with naked options. You may instead short options, but shorting naked options may be very risky. You may use iron condor or you may use verticals. That is how, looking at the volatility template, you can get a lot of insight efficiently. If I come back to US Bank Corp, and again I can click the menu bar, we found a trade setup, that is trend following trade setup and breaking out of memory resistance. And the second stock that we found out was JCI. It is also in an uptrend. Incidentally, in the weekly chart, it went up after displaying this unique bullish headwind signal. In the daily also, here it displayed a series of bullish headwind signals, the possible reversal signal. After that, it didn't drop much. Instead, went up enough for a possible profitable swing long trend. And we are looking at today's date. Today's date, we searched for a trend following long trade setup. It identified the cyan flow color candle in the daily chart. We looked for a breakout candidate. It is indeed breaking out. And by the way, this copper color line is showing that it is outperforming the market. It is the relative performance line. We can see there is no squeeze release. However, the swing is strong. Those are not required, but those are additional conditions we can look at. If we look at USB and we look at JCI, USB looks more appealing to me. Then technically we have a trade setup. So let me close all the charts. Technically we have a trade setup in USB to make our trading stand out from others. Let us look at the stock's fundamentals. And I'm using Q Vital, which is based on MetaStock Zenith real-time data. I can type a root stock, any stock, or I can give a list of stocks that I have interest in, maybe my portfolio of stocks or a list of stocks I have created, maybe IBD 50, etc. I can choose a peer relationship, which can be industry, similar industry, sector, country, or even global, and ask the system to do a fundamental and peer analysis. So I'm going to do that for USB, and the moment I type the symbol, it is going to do 3 passes. Streaming is on. In the first pass, it is retrieving some basic information about the stock. In the second pass, first pass is complete. Second pass, it is retrieving data about the peer stocks. What peer? The industry peer. And in the third step, it is retrieving data about all the peer stocks, calculating vital statistics. And I click the vital statistics button. It takes me to the stock panel. We have all the stocks with lot of insight into different panels: vital panel, performance panel, earnings and revenue growth, fundamental information, different ratios, parameters, and basic information. 80-90% of the time we need to use only the vital panel. That's why we call it vital. And here we have information about valuation of the stock. Again, cyan is strong. Then earnings growth of the stock. Green is strong, bright green is even stronger. Revenue growth. And if we are investing maybe in retirement account, dividend may be of interest. We have information about the dividend. Earnings per share, whether the company is making money. Next, earnings date. That was a piece of information that we are interested in. Earnings quality is robust or weak. Does it have a short squeeze potential? Recent percentage change. Is it near 52-week high or low? The industry, alternate industry. These are the information in the vital panel. What do we see for USB, the stock that we found? It has medium valuation. We just need to look at the yellow color, but it has steady growth. It's not a biotech company. It is not a tech company. It's a large bank, diversified bank. We don't expect it to have rip-roaring earnings growth, but it is having very steady earnings growth over the last 3 quarters as well as the last 3 yearly periods. In fact, the yearly earnings growth is accelerating from 9% to 12 to 20. That is a great acceleration of earnings growth. So USB looks good fundamentally. I mentioned about the necessity to know something about a stock. US Bank Corp is a well-known stock. You may know about that, but if you didn't know, you will get enough detail in the dashboard panel. Here we have some detail of what the stock does. US Bank Corp is a multi-state financial services holding company. We see its price, average volume shows it has enough liquidity or not. We need at least about 500,000 shares traded per day. US Bank Corp is trading much more than that, so the stock is liquid enough. Recent volume pattern change, slightly lower, but not hugely lower. Good market cap, large company. Alpha, how it performed relative to the market in the past. Beta, is it more volatile than the market or not? Is it making money? And dividend. It tells us about the industry sector as well. So we found this technically strong stock that is also fundamentally strong. In Q360 degrees technique, we like to align, and I believe that is the most efficient way of trading. Align 3 forces: industry forces, fundamental forces, as well as technical forces. We have covered 2 of them already. Where do I find about the industry? We find that from the QH product, which is also based on MetaStock Zenith, that is Thomson Reuters icon, everything running in real time. We have the performance of the sector. You can see over last 5 days, all the sectors are up. Today, 9 sectors are up, 2 are down. Which one is the best performing sector? Energy. So if you are using top-down analysis, and that is a very efficient way of analyzing your stocks, you will start with energy. What about financials? Is up over 5 days, up today also. So financials is also strong. Over last 5 days, everything is looking strong, probably not real estate, but financials is also strong. Energy is certainly strong. So if you are doing top-down analysis, you could go to the sector tab, that shows us the heat map and scorecard. You can double click on any column to sort by that. Cyan is strong. So instantly you know energy is the strongest over 5 days and pretty strong over 2 days and today also over 1 day. Materials is the second strongest right now. What about financials? If I open the pace column, which shows acceleration, these 3 pace columns show acceleration over 5 days, 2 days, and 1 day periods. And then these columns show the score over 12 monthly review periods, M1 to M12, and more frequently, because we have to take the trade on current date, more frequently over recent periods of 10 days, 5 days, 2 days, and 1 day. Financials is one that was weak earlier. You can see the scores were magenta, and now it is becoming stronger. It is showing some acceleration under 2 days, cyan color. So financials is of interest. Financials is accelerating. It was behind earlier, and energy has already accelerated and become strong. It was weaker earlier also. So we could be interested in financials based on acceleration. I could click the check button to drill down. Then I have all the financials industries. And I have diversified bank as one of the industries. I can see the diversified bank industry is not strong, and it is all relative. This is not strong relative to all the other industries we track, hundreds of industries, but the pace column is showing it is accelerating. That is an efficient way of trading, much ahead of others. Others may come to know when the industry is already strong, but we are able to know based on real-time data. In fact, if the market is open, the 1 day calculations are done in real time, and you can see exactly which industry or sector is accelerating today. If I sort by 1 day column, for example, reinsurance is the most accelerating most strong, not accelerating. The score column shows strength is the strongest. Reinsurance is the strongest financials industry today. However, it was very weak earlier. So today, if you were doing top-down analysis, you could look at insurance also. We started with bottom-up. With MetaStock scan, we found US Bank Corp. Then we looked at its sector and looked at its industry. The industry is also accelerating over 5 days. Therefore, now we have found efficiently a trade in US Bank Corp on live data using Q Global Technical Trading System, Q Vital Fundamental Analyst, and Q Edge Sector Industry Analyst, a trade that is what we call a 360 degrees analyst, 360 degrees trade. There are many more examples of such trades. We post them regularly in our forum. It is open to the public. And the examples all are 360 degrees examples of trades. You can go through all of them. They also explain a very disciplined and efficient way of trading. Let me look at this example. MDT, we closed the trade. That's why I'm picking the trade. You can go through all of them. These are all open to the public. There is a lot of description, but let me look at the chart. In the weekly, by now you know cyan color is bullish. Left hand side is the weekly chart. Weekly is bullish. Daily on the right hand side is cyan. That is the flow bullish candle color. The stock was already going up in an uptrend. We have a cyan color candle in daily, cyan in weekly. These last 3 band indicators are green. That meets all the required conditions for go with flow long trade setup. That is how I identified the trade, and we always share analysis as of that day. We don't look back and claim that, oh, this is a great analysis looking back. Not so. I posted it 14 days ago. That is how the stock looked like at that time at the right side of the chart. At that time, I saw, just like we saw in case of US Bank Corp today, healthcare equipment, MDT's industry was accelerating at that time. The industry was not strong enough, but it was accelerating. The same case we found for USB today. And in terms of fundamentals, MDT was a value stock. We found USB as a medium value stock, but here we see cyan color, a good value stock, optimal value stock. However, if you look at the earnings growth, USB's earnings growth are all in green color, but MDT's is in yellow color mostly. But the last quarter, I can see earnings was accelerating. So in case of MDT, I found a stock that was a value stock with accelerating earnings, accelerating industry as well, and technical trade setup. And I followed up with a chart later. Our entry for the go with flow trade setup was on this cyan color candle. After a few days, it hit the upper boundary. That is our initial profit target, and we would have booked at least partial profit. If we book partial profit, then we could apply trailing stop. And how do we apply trailing stop? We have a separate template for that. I can simply open it with at a glance template and click on the menu bar. These magenta color dots allow us to place trailing stop. So our entry was on this candle. We have already booked partial profit and our stop loss is now at this level. That also makes trading efficient. We have taken money out of the table, placed a trailing stop to try to let profit run, and now we can move on to our next trades. There are many more examples in the traders forum. There are many ways you can combine the scans to look for trades, confirm them with the unambiguous checklists, further look at the fundamentals using vital and the industry strength. That is the bottom-up analysis. You can also use the top-down analysis starting from the sector. And you can also use the third workflow that I mentioned. I will not have time, at least not much time to go through that. We have this insights. In the insight category, everything can be calculated in real time. One insight category is best performing value stocks. That is a popular category for many traders, many Q traders. you can also look for best performing growth stocks or best performing stocks with volume pressure. If you look at let's look at the top 1, 2, 3, 4. We can just choose the 4 of the best performing optimally valued stocks. All I need to do is close everything that I have now. Click on the chart icon. It will open those 4 stocks. All are well integrated with each other. And sometimes if there is not enough data, a message will come instantly by looking at the chart. Isn't it looking interesting? It displayed the bullish headwind signal in the weekly chart. Since then it is going up. That was pretty accurate. Now our trading decision is based on the last candle. It is bullish in shape and color. It moved out of this congestion area. In daily, it was moving in a range. Now it broke out. If you are taking breakout trades, this is looking good. This is PES. So you may check the fundamental, spending only few more seconds. It's in oil and gas drilling. What did we see? Energy is the best performing sector. If I go back and go to the industries of energy sector, I see oil and gas drilling is indeed very strong now. It was weak earlier and it is showing acceleration. So we found a stock in a very different way. We started looking at inside, went into value stocks moving up, found PES. It found 11 PR stocks for the same industry, calculated the vital statistics, and instantly I know it is a value stock. So we have a value stock now with a short squeeze potential that is giving me a breakout long trade setup, breakout of this watermark resistance, this white dot line, which is in a strong industry. I am not going to go through the other stocks, but I demonstrated 3 very efficient ways of finding stocks: top-down approach, bottom-up approach, and inside-based approach. All of them rely on the very efficient 360 degrees trades, where industry strength, fundamental strength, and technical strength can be aligned with easy to use color-coded systems. And we also demonstrated how to access basic information about the stock. What about the events? I use MetaStock Zenith, so I will take 2 more minutes. I have set up MetaStock Zenith just to look at what is essential because I want to make trading efficient. So I have a tab where I have general news. I not necessarily click on the news as I mentioned. Then I have streaming news on USA market. If I'm trading in the USA market, I could change the country to anything else. And the important news as per Thomson Reuters will be highlighted in red. So I don't need to look at them, all of them. I don't need to actually drill down, but just keeping an eye on the important news is useful. I can know the major economic events or central bank events. You can see today there was no major economic event. Central bank events were there. The Federal Reserve minute of the meeting at 2 p.m. If we look at tomorrow, then we'll see there are a number of major economic events: durable goods, continued jobless claims, etc. Then I need to know, because I'm in Asia, whether there is a trading holiday. I can know that from here. Next trading holiday in the USA market is Good Friday, 19th April. I keep an eye on the new highs and new lows. I can do that for USA market or any other market. I can do that based on different exchanges, but I prefer to look at the entire market, and today is certainly bullish in terms of new high low as well as advanced decline here at the top and up down volume. I have a work area where I can put the stocks I'm looking at. So we found USB and PES. So if I'm going to probably buy them tomorrow, then I'm going to add it to my bullish watch list. Once I have bought it, I can move it to my bullish holding and track them. How do I track them? I need to place an alert when to close the stock with profit or with loss, whatever be the case. And I can use the alert setter that is available. You can see I have set several alerts, one on SPY, S&P 500 ETF, to see when it is breaking below memory resistance. Currently, it is very bullish. Then I have an alert on an Australian stock when it is hitting my profit target. It's a short stock position using Australian stock. And then I have an alert on the entire portfolio if there is a major event happening. Everything that I need to set in terms of alert, I can do it in Zenith. I don't need to set up on different brokerage platforms. It is important to know about a company's earnings so I can know about when the next earnings date is there. Actually, I could know that from Vital also, and then more information about the stock if I need to. Everything that I need to know, I can know from Q Systems and from MetaStock Zenith. I don't need to go anywhere else. I promised I will come back to this green post-it. What media or channel do you use? I use MetaStock Zenith, and that is all I use. I don't need to go to 10 different websites, and I use the Q Vital and Q Edge information. How do you find your trades? From the 10 scans that are specific to trades, and then I look for specific patterns. I can mix and match the patterns using MetaStock. How many technical trade setups do you need? Only one for each market condition. What indicators are enough? Only color-coded indicators, only one for each purpose. One for squeeze release and only one for squeeze release, only one for overbought, oversold, and so on and so forth. How much time do you need to fundamentally find fundamentally strong stocks? 1 minute using Q Vital as I demonstrated. How quickly do you find the industry in favor? Less than a minute using Q Edge as I demonstrated. How do you track your stocks for entry and exit? Using the alert facility, again in MetaStock Zenith. When do you place your trade? I prefer to place my trade near market close. That means I need to spend only 20 to 30 minutes in a day, and all our trade setups can be confirmed at the end of the day. We don't need to wait for the next day. Can you use the same minimal set of resources for any country and market? Yes, I can, because MetaStock Zenith, driven by Thomson Reuters data, Q Global, Q Vital, and Q Edge, can be used not only in the USA market, but in any market, as I indeed use in my regular trading. I went a little bit beyond my schedule, but I hope that is okay with all of you. That is all that I plan to share in today's session. You may visit our website, the social network pages, the forum to find a lot more information. The Education Center has a lot more information. Thank you, Hunter, once again. Thanks to all of you. I look forward to seeing you again, and I will pass control back to Hunter.
Sagar, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you on. I hope that you out in the audience can see the a little bit into the process of how Sagar trades and how superior profit works, because in all honesty, it's very, very unique. It's unique for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it's unique because there's basically an entire community behind it, and Sagar's worked very hard to make that community supportive and very, very educational. It is a complete system, that takes into account multiple different variables. But the reason that I believe it's very, very unique, aside from the extensive information that's available on it, and education, etc., is the fact that it takes a large amount of information and it displays it in a very, very easy to read and easy to interpret manner. Everything is color coded. Now, a couple of things that I wanted to cover with you guys. I'll actually just pass I'm going to grab the control again. Let me show you my screen here. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen. Now in the chat box, I've actually put a couple of links in there. The first one is for Superior Profit, so it's superiorprofit.co. I wanted to give you out in the audience the ability to actually use Superior Profit Q Global for 3 months. And the reason that I feel like it's important that you use it for a full 3 months is, number one, taking the education from Sagar and watching the videos and being on the forum, etc. These little things are going to help you understand how to utilize this system effectively. And within 3 months, you're going to understand exactly how profitable this system can be and the many, many different ways that you can use it. Now, Q Global is normally $99 a month. What we'll do is we'll do a trial offer where if you pay $99, you get Superior Profit for 3 months. Okay. So you get an entire 3 months. It breaks down to about $33 a month, which in all honesty, for this much information, for this type of add-on and the extensiveness of this program is kind of a no-brainer. And that's my slightly biased opinion. But $99, you'll get it for to use for 3 months. There's also another thing that I wanted to do. MetaStock 16 came out a little bit ago, and it's been a very, very good upgrade. It's been probably one of our best use, what we like to call quality of life upgrades that we've had in years. And what we'll actually do is if you upgrade to MetaStock 16, now the pricing varies a little bit depending on what version of MetaStock you have. But if you do upgrade to MetaStock 16, we'll give you 3 months of Q Global for free. Okay, so it's quite the value. Again, using MetaStock for 3 months, you actually get that for free as well as a lot more. So I've put a couple of links down in your chat box. I want you to go to take advantage of this. One of two ways. You can go to metastock.com/sales chat or just click on that link in the chat box. The other way is you could actually go to metastock.com/superior profit 3 for 1, and I put that link in the chat box. One of the questions that we've run across here is, do you need MetaStock real time for it? This does work with end of day, but it does work better with MetaStock RT because of the multiple time frames that you can use the templates in, but you can use this for end of day trading as well. To take advantage of the full breadth of Superior Profit and the tools that they provide, it would be helpful to have real time as well as MetaStock Zenith. A common theme here is that Sagar is always updating these tools and making them better and making them easier to use. One of our audience members actually commented that he loves how Sagar has continued to improve the trading system. And he says it's very impressive, and thanks for that feedback. I couldn't agree more. So go ahead, come into metastock.com/sales chat or go to superiorprofit.co. Take advantage of the free educational tools. Take advantage of the trial that we're offering. Again, I would like to thank you, Sagar, so much for doing these webinars with us. They're always very well received and very, very educational. As far as all of you out in the audience, thank you so much for attending. I hope that you got some good things out of this, and I hope that you'll check out the websites and take a trial of Q Global. It's totally worth it. As for myself, I'm going to log off here for the evening. We'll stick around here for a couple of minutes, answer any other questions that you have out there. But as always, happy trading.
Thank you, everybody.